In this video, I'm going to have Jarrett Duncan, who is one of my business partners for the syndication business that we have started together alongside one of our other business partners. And we are going to talk about how we structure the deals with our investors and then also our operators that will be operating out of the assisted livings that we actually acquire. And also, I'm going to have a tour of one of the facilities that he has just finished remodeling, and his operator that he has put in that facility is going to give us a tour of it. So if you guys are interested, make sure to stick around. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown this channel. I greatly appreciate it. If you have not yet, feel free to check out the God Made podcast along with Legion Assisted Living Academy and Legion Assisted Living Advisors in the links down below. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Jarrett, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also we'll talk about this property, what you did to it, and exactly what it costs, all that type of stuff. So
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it, Serge. Thanks for having me on.
yeah.
I got into real estate investing a little over 3 years ago. I think like most investors, I started off kind of doing the single family model, just a typical single family residential rental. Moved into some smaller multifamily projects. And we really were kind of stumbled into the first assisted living facility. We were actually had told my broker I was looking for commercial properties, more so meaning multifamily, and he actually brought me an assisted living facility that was already being leased to an operator. That's the one that we actually own down in Florida. And so I kind of stumbled into that market, and I really liked it. I thought there was definitely some room for growth there. I didn't feel like I was coming across many investors that were kind of doing that type of model. So basically what we look to do is purchase the home or the facility itself. We do any type of renovations that are needed to either get it licensed or to kind of modify it to fit the business owner or the operator, kind of what they envision with the home. And then we just work out a long-term lease with them. And then we kind of take care of any of the capital expenditures, any of the major big ticket items. And then, we just kind of let them run the business as they see fit. And I think it works out pretty well for both sides. So.
Absolutely. And so the property of Florida, how many beds is that one? The assisted living down in Florida that you got?
So that one, so the regulations in Florida are a little bit different than in Arizona. So that one's actually only licensed for 6. So it's a little bit smaller property. It's about 2,000 square feet. And obviously the lease on that one's a little bit less too than what we typically see in Arizona, just because of the purchase price and acquisition costs on our end are a little bit lower. And the fact that it's only licensed for 6 residents.
Okay. And so here in Phoenix, how many do you currently have, including the one that I did the tour for today? Is this the first one, or do you have a couple other ones?
That's actually our second one. So
Okay.
we closed our first one out there in the summer of 2020. That was another 10-bed facility. And that's actually kind of how we came across this one. It was the broker I worked on in closing our first one. Is actually a broker I had been working with for probably 12 months leading up to that, just kind of establishing that relationship, really proving that, we were serious, and also just kind of educating her on what our model was. We weren't the typical operator coming in to look, to purchase the property and to run the business. We were just looking to purchase the property and then be able to lease it back to the business owner. So I think really just kind of establishing that rapport with her and her understanding what it was that we were looking for. She actually brought this property to us off market, and she knew that it would be a good fit and kind of aligned with what we were looking to do.
Okay. And the one that she brought you was the one on Tucky Lane, the one
Correct.
that we're,
Yep.
the one that I did the tour on. Yeah. So talk us about what you acquired it for, what renovations you did to it, because from the before and after pictures, I'll have to get a screenshot of the post you put on Instagram, and I'll put it up for everybody to see kind of the before and after. But it is absolutely insane, the difference from the before and after. So just kind of walk us through that process.
Yeah, so our all-in cost for that with renovations and everything was right at about 1.75 million.
Hmm.
So definitely on the higher end for 10-bed facilities. Um, the nice thing about this one with the zoning, so we did have to go through the whole process with the zoning board and everything like that, just to to get that approval. But the nice thing about the zoning is it does allow for it to be expanded into a center, which would allow for up to 18 residents. So that's something that we might explore down the road, but there is definitely potential there. But yeah, I mean, the renovation process on this one was kind of a beast. Just like with any renovation, there's always unexpected costs, unforeseen issues, that type of thing that come up. Um, so it definitely took us a little longer to kind of get everything closed and ready to go, and then be able to get everything in a position where we could bring ADHS in to do the licensing
Hmm.
inspection, get all the approvals in terms of the certificate of occupancy, the fire inspection, that type of thing. But yeah, overall, I mean, we're definitely pleased and happy with how it turned out. I believe the operators that we're leasing to are pleased as well.
Absolutely. So how much capital did you raise for this specific property? And then if so, how many investors did you bring in? And then just kind of talk us through that.
Sure. Yep. So we raised 450,000 for this investment. That was spread out over 8 investors. So our minimum investment was $50,000. We
Mhm.
did have one investor come in at 100,000. Um, and yeah, I mean, basically the way we structure it is just a straight equity ownership split. So basically, a $50,000 investment gets you 8% ownership in the property,
Mhm.
and so that 8% includes any of the monthly cash flows that we get. So we do pay out a quarterly distribution to investors. And then with this particular property also, which is something that we offer up to any operator that we're discussing a property with, is a lease option. So that basically gives them the opportunity down the road to be able to purchase a home at a kind of a pre-approved or pre-agreed upon purchase price.
Mhm.
So our typical lease is about 5 years, and then we usually give them that option to purchase after year 3 of the lease. So basically between years 4 and 5. Um, and so that really gives us a known exit strategy that we can kind of show to our investors. And it also, I think, lines up well with the business owner or the operator, allows them to get in. They can focus on putting a lot of their capital into growing the business, getting that cash flowing on their end. And then once they're in position, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, then they can start lining up their financing to potentially purchase the home.
Absolutely. So for the lease option, how much of a down payment do most operators put down, or what do you guys require?
Sure. Yeah. So our typical target is 5% of what our purchase price is.
Mhm.
Um, Typically, I mean, we've done it both ways, either the 5% up front, or we can kind of spread that out over the first 12 months of the lease. Again, with being cognizant of the operator, the business owner needing some capital to help grow the business and get that up and running. But typically, yeah, the purchase option fee is 5%, and that does get applied to their purchase price if they do exercise the option down the road.
Absolutely. And so another question, whether from if they're looking to be an operator or they're looking to invest, the question would be how how do you vet operators, and then what should operators expect as far as wanting to get into one of the properties and to lease it? What do you guys require? And then also from the investment standpoint for your investors, how do they make sure we get a qualified operator in the property? So
Sure.
if you
No,
can
yeah,
kind of talk
I
through
mean,
that.
that's one of our main focuses too, almost more so than the property itself, is just making sure that we find a qualified and experienced operator that not only that we feel comfortable with, but we know that our investors will feel comfortable with as well. So the main thing we look for is that experience. So whether that's owning and operating their own home currently, or if they're managing a home for somebody else currently, just showing that they have some of that, caregiver and management experience within system. Uh, and then yeah, we do request financials from them. So tax returns, typically a bank statement showing a certain amount of liquidity. We typically target 3 months worth of rent in liquidity. Again, just with starting up a new business, sometimes they're acquiring a business with residents already in there. Other times it's filling it from the ground up.
Mhm.
But either way, we definitely want to see that they do have some liquidity, some capital on hand. Um, you know, especially in those times where they don't have any income coming in from the start, that can kind of help them get through those first few months of getting everything up and running.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, what is, I guess, for operators, what do you see most often, like the pros and cons of rather them getting into a property and purchasing it themselves versus them renting? Because that's a question I get a lot. Is it better to purchase or rent?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing we come across with the majority of the operators that we talk to that are interested in leasing is um, number one, it could be that they just don't have any interest in owning the real estate or the property.
Hmm.
Whether that's they don't want to deal with repairs or any type of capital expenditures. They just would rather be able to focus completely on the business. Um, and other times it's just a matter of, they only have a limited amount of capital available. They would rather put that into their business or back into their business to help that grow, and maybe, expand into future locations. Whereas if they're having to purchase the property themselves, they're tying up a lot of that capital. Depending on the financing they get, they can be tying up 20 or 25% of whatever the purchase price is in a down payment, that otherwise could be going towards, growing their business and potentially expanding into new locations. So that's where I feel like we kind of are able to step in and really help out,
Hmm.
and can be a good kind of partner with that operator, to allow them to expand and to get into new locations without having to come out of pocket for purchasing the property itself.
Yeah, and absolutely. And for anybody that's wondering, it also comes down to if you're able to get financing for that specific property, whether you
Right.
go down the residential route or the commercial route of financing. So, that's another benefit of leasing a property because you won't have to go through all the hoops of trying to get financing for that specific property, especially if it has an existing business in it already. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. And then as far as for investors, what type of cash on cash return do they get or analyzed return? Can you kind of talk through that and break that down and kind of what
Sure.
your
Yeah. So I
guys'
mean,
goals are for investors and trying to get them the rate of return that they
right.
are hoping for?
Right. No, that's a great question. Yeah, so basically, we kind of work backwards from, we kind of factor in, okay, what's our total acquisition cost to purchase this home? And then what's the immediate kind of upfront cost we're going to have to put into either remodeling it, doing renovations, any deferred maintenance that might be there. We like to take care of all that on the front end just so it's less of an issue later on, especially when they get residents in there and they're running a business. We don't want to be in there, tearing the house apart and doing different type of renovations like that. So usually we get a pretty good idea of what our acquisition costs are going to be all in, and that's kind of how we base, okay, this is what our monthly lease amount will be.
Hmm.
And then from there, we kind of back into the number one, the amount of money that we're going to need to raise, and then kind of how we are going to split up that ownership, the ownership interest between the investors and then us as general partners. But we typically try to target at least 10% cash on cash return, anywhere from 10 to 11%.
Okay.
Again, so we're getting the monthly cash flow, we're distributing distributions quarterly. And then typical hold time, between 3 and 5 years is what we target. So when we factor in our exit strategy, we're typically looking at an annualized return on investment of 17 to 20%, once we factor in the sale of the home, as well as that monthly cash flow.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. That's actually really good compared to a lot of other investments. And that's what makes this whole business model so attractive. So, for anyone that's looking to invest or looking if they're locally here in Arizona, our plan is to eventually go nationwide and try to get some more properties in other locations and try to help out operators that want to operate a business out of a home like here in Arizona. That's kind of the ultimate goal. And so, yeah, for anyone that's interested, I'll link my email, and then Greg, he's not on the call, but he's more in charge of investors relations. And so he can schedule a call with you guys. And Jarrett, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate everything. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think that sums it up well. And like I said earlier, I think we really what we're trying to do, I think, can be a great complement to some of the operators and business owners or future business owners out there that want to get into this industry but don't think they have the capital because they think they're limited with having to purchase the property. I think that's where we can really come in and help you out and create a successful relationship over the long term.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, we'll talk soon. I appreciate you coming on here and discussing all this with us. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Welcome to the Villa Ataki Lane. My name is Moises Platon. I'm the operator and owner of this facility. Come on in.
Yeah.
So this is our beautiful home. As you see, we have a very large sitting area. At the same time, we have a large, cozy entertainment system. So,
Yeah.
come on in.
It's really nice.
This is our fabulous kitchen. As you see, they're already preparing for food for our guests for today.
And you're doing an open house, right?
Yes, we do have an open house today. It's going to be from 11 to 5 a.m. 5 p.m. So let's go ahead and do a tour down the hall.
Yeah. So how many rooms do you have on this side of
On
the
this
house?
side of the house, we have six
Six
rooms. So this is one of the rooms that we have. Room
Yeah.
5.
Beautiful. And then they all have their own separate bathrooms.
Correct.
Yeah.
They have all of them has their own walk-in closet at the same time.
How many people are you licensed for?
We're licensed for 10.
10. Awesome.
So this area is my favorite, especially going down this hill right here. This is very cozy, more open. It's warming.
Yeah.
So, and also you can have a little privacy sitting area right here where you can read books and things like that.
Yeah. It's really nice.
So in this side of the area, we have 4 rooms.
One right there, 2, and then
And 4.
3, 4.
Yes.
So you got 6 on this side,
Mhm.
and they all have their own.
Correct.
bathrooms
All of them
and
has their
showers.
own bathrooms. All of them has their own walk-in closets.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Thanks,
And
thanks.
so overall, the whole house itself has, you said 6,000 square feet?
6,500 square feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys can imagine it's
Oh yes, of course.
pretty big house,
Yes,
very
yes,
spacious.
correct.
Yeah.
So whoever's going to be moving in here will have fun. So.
Yes. Yeah.
So let me go ahead and walk you down the other side of the rooms. So in this area right here, we have 3 sides of the rooms. We have this side right here, which is we have 6 rooms. On the other side, we have 2, and then we have this more of our bariatric and also the ones that really need more attention. So
Okay.
room 1, come on in.
This is room 1 right here. Beautiful shower. They're all same style. This one's a little bit smaller than the other rooms, but
Room 2, about the same size.
beautiful.
Now let me walk you through the last side of the room. So this room right here, it's our master bedroom. We call it master bedroom because it has its own reading section, right? You can have a small table, little couch, whatever you want, computer table, whatsoever. So we have this spacious room right here. And it also has a really large bathroom.
Yeah.
And as you see, all our bathrooms are all ADL compliant. It has their own bars and things like that. So. And our last room, and it will also take you to the backyard. So our last room right here, it's one of the best one I have because the only reason being is because you have a view of the backyard. You have access going out, have a walk and things like that, and you know the sun comes to this room.
Okay.
I like rooms that has so much sun into it.
Yeah,
It's
just
sort of like-
natural lighting.
Correct,
The
correct.
only thing to this room is
It doesn't have a bathroom.
It's the only one that does it, right?
Yes, correct. But you have your own personal one, which is right there, right outside the door.
Oh, okay, yeah. So right there.
Yes. So this is our backyard. Very spacious backyard.
Yeah. Last words you would like to tell people, kind of anything as far as your properties or business or anything?
Yes, yes. So, like I said earlier, we do have 4 other facilities in the valley. So, if you guys need to get a hold of me, you can always call me at 602-909-7535.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, feel free to hit him up if you guys need any advice on anything. I'm sure he'll be a great resource. So
Yes. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much.